Welcome back. This is Advanced Track Workouts for Triathletes, and it's part 2 of my series on speed development for endurance runners. So if you haven't listened to part 1, I published it 3 to 4 weeks ago. It's over on my YouTube channel. You can get it there. Give that a listen because there's some things, particularly at the start of that video, that I want you to hear. So in part 1, we walked through building up to a main set of 8 to 12 800-meter repeats. And that was a main set distance of between 6 and 10,000 meters, round numbers. So keep that 6 to 10,000 in your head. It's going to be useful when you're building this advanced main set. So the progression from those 800s is really to start, rather than changing the speed of the interval itself, start changing speed within the interval. Now, why would we want to do that? It's a very race-specific form of fitness. And when you watch races, the sprint finish at the end is always very exciting. But before we ever get to a sprint finish at the end, there's usually a lot of pace changes that are being used as a tactical method to gain separation from the competition. And if you're a competitive athlete or a top amateur, having the ability to throw down these increases in speed and tolerate it is a very useful race tactic. It also gets your body used to lifting effort over things like rollers and hills, and it's just a great session. So how are we going to build that up? Well, the easiest main set would be something like 5 by 1200, which would get us to 6,000, that lower end. And in those 1200s, we would do the first and last 400 at half marathon pace. And then the middle 400 we would do at 10K pace. And so there would be variation within the interval. And then the rest interval on that, you could either float a 100 or a 200, or you could stand around for a minute and then hit it again and try that session out. Now, if you're a Ironman athlete or a 70.3 type athlete, perhaps you're looking for longer intervals, and you can take these intervals up to 2K. So a 2K example would be 5 by 2K, and that's going to be a 10,000 meter main set, and you will want to have done that full 12 by 800 session and proven that you can handle that before stepping up to a 10K main set. And then it would be 400, 800 faster, 800 at that same speed as the 400. And then what you could be moving between would be, say, you would start at 70.3 pace for the first 400, the last 800, and then that middle 800 would be done at 10K pace. And that would be a great session. It'd be quite demanding, so you want to make sure you've got a deep level of fitness so that you tolerate it. And that 2K one was actually one of my favorites. I did it a few times when I was really running well, and it gave me the confidence that I knew I could surge hard for a while and then back off and I'd be okay. So you can experiment with those anywhere between 1200, 1600, 2K worth, and the total main set. I would say give some thought to the race that you're preparing for. Are you training for an Ironman? Are you training for something shorter? And then also, when setting your velocities, set them with respect to realistic race paces. So don't be doing this as a track session in terms of, oh, I want to make this really painful or I want to make this really hard. I want you to be thinking, I want to make this very specific. And so I want to train my ability to basically recover at core pace, recover at race pace from these surges. That's the specific thing that you're training. So I hope that helps you. Good luck, and I'll see you at the races.